to Healthy Cooking with Shayda. I'm your host, and this is where I teach you how to make healthy plant-based meals that are salt, oil, and sugar-free. Today, you're in for a treat. We are going to be making a Mexican chocolate hummus. Now, what makes it different than the brownie batter hummus that I made previously? The difference is going to be in the spices that I use. It's basically the same recipe, just with different spices. And one of those spices that I'm using is from Loco Spicery, and it's called dark. I tend to add this to a lot of my chocolate recipes, but it will change up the flavor a little bit. Why? Listen to the ingredients that's in here. There's Ceylon cinnamon, vanilla, chili pepper, star anise, and mace. So there's some really warm spices that are in here that just makes this absolutely delicious. And I got to tell you, when you eat it right out of the batter, when you made it, the flavor is going to completely change once it's been sitting in the refrigerator for 3 or 4 hours and it's had time to really settle and the flavors for it to come together. So that's when you should really taste it, because that's when it's just out of this world and it's delicious. So hang tight. We are going to get started soon, but first, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, and make sure you hit that bell button so that you'll be notified every time that we have a new video out for you guys to see. So let's get started in a few minutes. So for this recipe, you are going to need 2 cans of garbanzo beans. These are 2 15-ounce cans of garbanzo beans. And I have them rinsed, and I've also taken the skin off of the garbanzo beans. You will notice that when you're rinsing the garbanzo beans, naturally the skin starts to come off. Now, take the extra time to take the rest of the skins off of these. I tell you why, because it makes it, when you're blending this, it makes it much more creamier than if you were to leave the skins on. You can skip this step and leave the skins on if you like, but I'm telling you, take the extra few minutes in taking the skins off. It makes a huge difference. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it in our food processor. Next, we are going to add our chocolate. Now you can use, I'm using cacao powder here. But you can also use Cara powder. I know some of you don't want to use cacao powder because of the caffeine, and that's completely fine. You don't have to use it, but if you do use it, that's fine too. We're going to add the dark powder, which is from Loco Spicery again, and I'll put a link for this for you guys. So we're putting about a teaspoon in. I am putting about half a teaspoon of pure Madagascar vanilla. And I use vanilla powder because that way I know there's no alcohol. I'm sure you can find alcohol-free vanilla as well. I am adding some cinnamon to this, more cinnamon, because it tastes good. We are going to be adding some date syrup to this to make it sweet. And when you're buying date syrup, make sure that the only ingredient in here is dates. Why do I say that? They do sell date syrup in the Middle Eastern store, but the only problem is that they add sugar to it. And it's not just in the Middle Eastern store that I've seen it. I've seen it all over. You just have to become religious about really reading what the ingredients are. Don't just assume, just because it says date syrup, that it's just going to be pure date syrup, because a lot of times it's not. Next, we are going to be adding sesame tahini. Now, when you buy tahini, make sure that the only ingredient that it should say in here, it says ground sesame seeds. That's it. There's nothing else in here. Now, typically when you buy your sesame, when you buy your tahini, you'll notice that some oil is sitting on top of this. So what I do with that is I get a plastic bag and I drain off the excess oil. So I don't want that excess oil. So I'll just take the ground sesame seeds. And to this, we are going to add about 1/4 cup of tahini. So we're going to add that to our batter. And to this, we are going to be adding some soy milk. Now, if you don't want to use soy milk, you can use almond milk, you can use oat milk, you can use any plant-based milk that you like. So we are adding about a half a cup. Now the recipe with all the ingredients, everything will be on my website. My website is healthycookingwithshayda.com. And you can find all the recipes and more recipes and anything that you're looking for. So that is it as far as what's going in here. We're going to put the lid on and we're going to start this and we're going to be mixing this. Now, this is halfway through and I'm stopping it because I want to check to make sure that everything's getting blended well. And I want to also check the consistency of the hummus, because once this goes in the refrigerator, it'll harden up a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. I don't want it too runny and I don't want it too stiff either. So this is the right consistency. I'm going to blend it up just a little bit more. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and take it and put it in a nice bowl and show that to you guys. So let's get this started. All right, guys, our hummus is ready now. And again, it's only been in the refrigerator for 2 hours. I like it overnight. That's when it really shows itself. But let's taste test it with a pineapple. It's so good. You guys are gonna love this. Please, please make this for your next party, for your next get-togethers, especially with summer right now. There's so many delicious fruits that are out there. It's so good, especially if you're using like a Honeycrisp apple, strawberries, pineapple, peaches, all of it. All of it's absolutely fantastic. Like I said, for this recipe, go to my website, healthycookingwithshayda.com. Thank you for watching another episode. And remember, guys, it's one bite at a time, one meal at a time, and we'll see you soon with our next video. Thanks again.